because it's like there's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic, that's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1 million, quadruple billion dollars and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion. But can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house.
For my social justice project, I chose homelessness. Homelessness is a social problem because it causes harm and suffering to a certain group of people. Homelessness is an epidemic here in San Diego, in America, and across the globe. More than 3.5 million people experience homelessness in the United States each year. According to the National Law Center of Homelessness and Poverty, shortages of low-income housing continue to be a major challenge. The top causes of homelessness are lack of affordable housing, unemployment, poverty, and low wages. Being poor can mean a person is one paycheck away from living on the streets. Other factors that contribute to homelessness include poor physical and mental health, drug and alcohol addiction, domestic violence and abuse, mental illness, and family instability. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, there were roughly 554,000 homeless people living somewhere in the United States on a given night last year. A total of 193,000 of those people were unsheltered, meaning that they were living on the street and had no access to emergency shelters, transitional housing, or safe havens. I wanted to look at the problem from a different perspective, so I decided to interview several individuals living on the streets of San Diego. The people I spoke with shared with me some of the consequences of living on the streets. One individual explained that his items were stolen while he was sleeping. He now takes speed in order to protect his belongings throughout the night. Some individuals claim they were constantly harassed by the police, while others focus on finding a place to shower and wash their clothes. I learned additional consequences by speaking with members of the community. One security guard told me he was hired in order to keep the homeless away from the local businesses. I also talked to a police officer. He informed me that the city of San Diego is clearing the homeless off the street due to the recent hepatitis outbreak. These consequences are not specific to San Diego. They are experienced by all homeless regardless of their location. So your name was?
Amanda Brady Valise.
How did you become homeless?
It probably goes back to when I was a kid and I got in with the wrong crowd, like idle hands, not doing something, having something to do, making the brain work constantly,
How does society treat you? Like, do people go out of their way to help you, or do you feel disconnected?
A lot of people walk by and judge you, won't even look you in the face.
Yeah.
Simply because you're a little more dirty than everybody else.
Yeah.
Or you might look bad or be having a bad day, and they don't even want to stop and say hi, because, I don't want to touch that person. And most people get that a lot of the time out here, so it just pushes them further and further away into their own, isolation and introvertedness,
Has being homeless affected you, emotionally?
The community has a lot to do with how I feel, or what I'm doing, or if I should leave, or if I should go, or if I'm safe, you have to have your feelers out there, and everything matters, to whether or not you're okay or not.
Has it been difficult to get a job?
Yeah, it's very difficult to get a job, especially when you walk in and you've already got this label on you of, being of the homeless kind or of the mentally ill kind, and they just don't even give you the time of day because you don't have a guarantee walking with you that you're good,
How can society help you to get back on your feet and back in a good place and all that?
Jobs. Most people that are homeless or mentally ill, they come with hazards. You're mental illness. Nobody wants to touch that.
Homelessness has decreased slightly since 2012, but is beginning to rise again due to the recent government cutbacks. What is your name?
Jose.
Jose?
Yeah.
How did you become homeless?
When my mom died, they stopped caring and I just started running amok.
Where do you usually stay?
In the street, anywhere,
streets?
yeah. Just find a spot.
Has it been difficult to try to get a job?
Right now, I'm on paper, like on probation. So it's kind of he wants me to do a program. I just haven't been able to finish one. So he got me back and forth, going to the county, back and forth, so I can't really work or nothing, so it kind of messes me up,
How can society help you to get back on your feet and in a good place?
Well, there's a lot of resources. I know that,
Yeah.
resources, but the thing is that I think a lot of people, they get used to living out here. They don't even want to go back.
Anything to bring awareness?
Just like, one thing that I do notice out here, dude, is that there's a lot of people on mental health that are out here. There's a lot of people are lost out here, man. I see people like in the sidewalk who don't even know where to get a blanket, don't know where to do nothing.
What do you think the solution to end homelessness is?
People that don't got houses, build them some houses. It's cheaper than what they're doing with all the money, resources. Like you better just buy some buildings and just portion them out. The people that need them,
Solutions for homelessness will take us as far as we can imagine. My solution would be to build tiny houses for the homeless. This concept of tiny house villages originated from tent cities. Since then, there has been a number of tiny house villages popping up throughout the country. The project is part of a national movement to find transitional housing for the homeless. Each village is constructed to reflect the biggest cause for homelessness in the particular area. The villages are designed to specifically encourage socialization, and they offer educational and employment programs. On average, the cost to construct these villages is about half the cost to construct public housing projects. Cities have implemented this practical solution, and government housing officials are taking notice. Society continues to view the homeless as outcasts, unstable, and dangerous people who should be feared. The key to solving any social problem is through education, communication, social connection, empathy, and acting as the voice of those who have been silenced. This experience has made me realize the homeless have been forgotten by the system. As a result, they feel lost in a society that refuses to acknowledge their presence.